2007 was the last time that a double-digit seed didn't make at least the Sweet 16. So who could be the potential Cinderella this year? Let's dig into 5 teams and the case for them to keep on dancing this March, including the team I think has the best chance to go on a deep run at the end. The Point Panthers come into March Madness on a 29-5 record. They just won the Big South Conference tournament. Their best win came against North Texas in December, and they are currently on the longest active win streak in the country, which is at 14 games. They are top 30 on offense per KenPom and around 225th defensively. They are much more offensive oriented than defense. They are a top 15 in terms of effective field goal percentage. They don't turn the ball over, they crash the offensive glass, and they get to the foul line a lot. But they're a team that is a very, very deep team. They average 27.3 bench points per game, which is 31st in the entire country. And so they are a team that they can kind of wear you down in different ways, and they have many guys that they can rely on throughout the course of the game. Now, if we look at kind of what they've done in terms of the offensive defensive side of the ball, looking first at their shot chart on offense, they have been awesome in the paint. They're shooting about 68% at the rim, basically 50% on twos inside of the paint, not at the rim. And they've also been a team that can knock shots down. They are top 50 in 3-point percentage on the season in D1 and a top 20 team in terms of 2-point percentage. They are a team that can get buckets, and when you are looking at teams to go on runs in March, oftentimes you either got to be really good offensively or really good defensively, and they are really good offensively. If we look at their roster breakdown, they have 3 guys averaging between 13 and 15 points, but they also have a lot of other guys that are averaging between 5 and 9. They also have 4 guys that are averaging 2+ assists. Keza Giffa, Demarion Williams, Kamani Hamilton, those are the 3 main scorers, but Bobby Pettiford has been a guy that can set them up offensively. And so the case for them is that they are top 50 in both 2 and 3-point percentage. They don't turn the ball over, and they get on the offensive glass. They have multiple dudes that can just go and create a bucket in isolation as well. Looking at how they run pick and roll, we can see a couple examples right here. One thing that they love to do is use this step-up screen where as he catches the ball, you have a big coming up to step up and set the screen, and that can kind of tilt defenses already, and you're going to see that here where now it's immediately just a pass back, attack the closeout, and get to the rim. And then on this next play right here, they're going to start in a ram pick and pop. So the ram screen is this down screen. Now they're going to set a screen, and they love using their rollers, whether it be picking and popping or just letting them get all the way to the rim, because they have guys that they trust to be able to go to make. Gets the shot fake, and now he's getting downhill where he has put the defense into rotation, drop off for the dunk. And the last one right here, just an out screen or cross screen right there, get into a step up screen, and then just simple pick and pop where the defense puts 2 on the ball. Now you pick and pop and knock it down from 3. The Lipscomb Bisons come into March Madness at 25-9. They just won the ASUN Conference Tournament and also shared the regular season title. Their best win comes against Chattanooga on the road. They are a top 75 offense and 102nd ranked defense per KenPom. And if we look at what they do well and what they've struggled with, the offense has definitely been a strong suit. They are top 25 in effective field goal percentage, and they are top 20 in turnover percentage. So they do not turn over the ball, and they make a lot of their shots. Now on the other side of the ball, they do a good job on the defensive glass. They don't foul, and they do a pretty good job of limiting the 3-point line. And if we look at their shot charts here, looking at the offense, they are elite at the rim and elite from 3. Now on the left is field goal percentage and the right is field goal attempt percentage. And then on the defensive side of the ball, just kind of solid all around, no super glaring weaknesses. And then the roster, they have 5 scorers in double figures, led by Jacob Ognasevich, who is averaging 20.1 points per game. He is a guy that he is their go-to scorer. He is elite in the post. He can be a pick and pop big. He can attack closeouts. He's a guy that at 6'8" can kind of just do a little bit of everything offensively for what they need them to do, but he is far from the only option on this team. Like I said, there are 5 players averaging 10+ points. Now they only run really a 7-man rotation at this point, but they get good contributions from pretty much everywhere. Joe Anderson is the lead point guard who does a great job of facilitating the ball and not turning it over. And they got guys like Will Pruitt who are able to also just give them a really good scoring punch. The other thing that stands out is 5 of these guys shoot over 33% from 3. 4 of them shoot 35+% from 3. And that is kind of the case for Lipscomb making a run, is that they are a team that can get super hot from 3, and they take a lot of shots from 3. They are 25th in the country in 3-point attempt rate. Basically 50% of their shots come from 3, and they make 36% of them, which is top 50 in the country. When you look at a 1-game sample size against a good team, Lipscomb is a team that definitely can just knock down 10 to 15 threes within a game if they are on, and that is a lot to overcome even if you are a high. We're going to start here where gets the ball up to the top of the key, and you're looking for a post up for Ignacevic. They get it to him here, and now with his ability to score, you're going to start seeing the teams double. Now this is Arkansas that they're playing, so a high major D1 team. You can see the double team here, and as that happens, he just kicks out. Now you have extra pass, and now he's going to knock down the wide open 3. Here, quick elbow action into zoom, which is the screen into the handoff, and if the defense goes under like they are right here, that's immediately just going to be a shot. And then last one right here, where the ball's just going to swing around and you're going to start getting to this flare. So as this is happening, the defense is going under because Ignacevic is a guy that can catch and drive. But if you go that far under, he's just going to knock it down. The McNeese Cowboys come in at 27-6 after winning the Southland Conference Tournament and regular season title. Their best win came against North Texas, but they lost to Alabama by 8 and Mississippi State by 3. This is a team that showed they could be competitive against the best of the best early on in the year. We look at their KenPom, they are top 70 in both offense and defense. And we look at what they do well, they've kind of done a bit of everything well. They are really good on the offensive glass. They have solid effective field goal percentage. They are a solid 3-point percentage shooting team and a solid 2-point percentage shooting team. But the thing that stands out the most is their defense, specifically the turnovers. They have a top 20 defensive turnover rate in the country, and that has really been their calling card the entire season, is speed things up, make teams grind, and just kind of muck things up with their physicality. And because of that, they force a lot of turnover. Offensively, they are a team that takes a ton of shots at the rim. 41% of their shots come at the rim, one of the highest rates in the entire country. However, they also can knock down threes, as you can see, especially kickouts to the corner. Now on their defensive side, they protect the paint and they protect the rim. They have one of the highest defensive 3-point attempt rates, meaning teams take lots of threes against them. They protect the paint. You can see here, teams are shooting really, really poorly, both at the rim and inside of the paint against McNeese. Part of their defense is based on being in help a lot. If we look at their players, they have very balanced scoring output with 7 different players averaging between 7 and 13 points per game. Kadir Copeland is the main facilitator with 4.5 assists per game. And the case for McNeese is kind of just that they can make games messy. If you are looking for a team to just kind of muck games up and impose their will, McNeese is the team for you. They are super physical. They are super athletic. That's what they want to do, and that's what they've built on. They can do it with their switching defense and being able to help protect the rim. And then offensively, they got dudes that just can go downhill and go get you a bucket, shooters surrounding them, and they kind of just adds up to a good overall team. And we're going to look here, and the big thing is going to be that they are a team that can switch everything. On this pin in right here, they switch there, force the drive, and now they get back in front. And so now Southeast Louisiana has to now reset. Another high ball screen switch. You can see here they're pointing the switch. Then there's no screen, so they stay with it. Empty corner ball screen right here. That's a switch. And you can see the help position at the rim as well. And so what McNeese does is they rotate the low man to be at the rim to kind of deter shots from happening there. And now this play, another defensive example, there's going to be this initial pin down. They stay with that. Initial switch up top. Flare screen, they stay with, which flows into a high ball screen right here. Now they're going to switch that. And again, you can see, look at the paint now, 3 guys in the paint. As this empty corner ball screen happens, there are 2 defenders, basically both helping at the rim. Now one's going to rotate over to help on the baseline where McNeese is forcing. And then they just got active hands where they can poke the ball free, get tips, and kind of intercept passes and be able to go the other way. Next up is the UC San Diego Tritons, who sit at 28-4, and at the time of recording, they actually haven't quite clinched a spot in March Madness yet. But that's kind of how much confidence I have in them. Now, they can definitely go and win the Big West Conference Tournament, which they will be favorites for, or one of 2 favorites to do. But they also could be an at-large bid, and I think if they get in the dance, they have a real shot of making a run. They are top 60 in both offense and defense per KenPom, and they are another team that shoots really, really well. They have a really high effective field goal percentage. The other thing that stands out is turnovers. They do not turn the ball over, and they force the 2nd most turnovers in the country per defensive turnover percentage. So they are aggressive defensively, they are smart defensively, and they can really do different things and kind of muck games up, I think, that way. Looking at kind of where their shots come from, they are another team that a lot of shots at the rim, a A lot of three-pointers, which we'll talk about more in a second. Not too many mid-range. They are elite from three. And looking at the defensive side, they do a really good job of limiting shots at the rim. They allow a few shots at the rim, but they also defend the rim really, really well at just over 55% on the season, which is one of the better rates in the entire country. Now, looking at kind of some of their roster makeup, you have Tate Jones, who is averaging 19.7 points per game. Is kind of a little bit of a do-it-all forward that can facilitate, score at all three levels, but he isn't the only guy. Tyler McGee is averaging close to 17 a game, and they have two others who are averaging double-digit points per game. And Hayden Gray, if you look at him, he's averaging 3.3 steals a game, which is the most out of any player in the entire country. Not just his conference, the entire country. So they bomb away from three. They are top 10 in terms of three-point attempt percentage. Basically, 50% of their shots come from three, while knocking down 36% of them, which is top 50 in the country. So they can knock down threes. They have a go-to scorer in Tate Jones, and they force an insane amount of turnovers. When you kind of put all those things together, that really does have the makings of a team that can make a deep run. I want to start looking at what UC San Diego does defensively. They will play a lot of zone and kind of allow their guys to work from there. And out of this sideline out of bounds, you can kind of see they are a zone defense. They also switch a lot. Now, Hayden Gray's the guy to look at right here, and just look at his ability to gamble and poke the ball free. As this happens, the drive, he's just going to jump, and now he pokes the ball free, and they're going the other way. And they take smart gambles. They aren't just aggressive, fouling, trying to be super physical. They really are smart with their defense and what they're able to do. So here, kind of the zone defense, again, where they switch everything and can match up a little bit that way. And if we're going to look here, he's just reading the pass. This is smart off ball from him, as now he's going to be able to jump the lane, and now they're going to be going the other way. Offensively, we talked about Tate Jones being the go-to guy. They also just have a bunch of shooters, and 50% of their shots come from three, and it's pretty simple action. They're going to pick and pop, swing, and just get a good look from three there. And lastly, we have the Drake Bulldogs, who are sitting at 30-3 and won the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament and outright title. Ben McCollum, in his first year coaching at D1, has really just turned Drake into one of the best mid-major teams once again in college basketball. Their best win came on a neutral floor against Vanderbilt, and they have a top 75 offense and top 50 defense per KenPom. We look at what they do well. They force teams to turn the ball over at a really, really good clip, and they dominate the glass, on top of being a team that can still shoot the ball. They're not maybe as elite as some of the other teams I've mentioned in this video, but they dominate the glass, and they get to the free throw line a ton. Now, when we look at their offensive shot chart, they shoot really, really well at the rim, basically 69% at the rim, which is obviously a very good rate, and they take a good chunk of their shots inside of the arc. And as we look at the roster breakdown, Bennett Sturtz is a 6'4" point guard who has done basically any and everything that Drake has asked. He's averaging 19 points a game, which leads the team. He's averaging 2.2 steals a game, which leads the conference. He's averaging 5.7 assists, 4.4 rebounds. Like, he is a guy that can do a bit of everything: knock down three, run pick and roll, spot up. But it isn't just him. There are three guys, Abreu, Banks, and Mascari, who are averaging basically 10 points a game apiece. And if you look at this roster here, like, there are 6 different players that average at least 1 steal a game. This is a team that forces a lot of turnovers, and they have the players and personnel to do it. And that's, I think, the biggest case for them, is that they are a team that has shown they can force teams to just really have to play a different style. Drake can be physical on the glass. They can draw a lot of fouls, and they force a lot of turnovers. Those are things that translate game to game regardless of what arena or what opponent you are playing. Now, on top of that, they are the slowest paced team in the country, which is interesting for an upset-minded team, because the fewer possessions you play, the more likely it is that an upset can occur, and they do that, and they are awesome at it, of slowing the game down, playing at their pace. Now, to cap it all off, they have a guy in Bennett Sturtz who can just simply take over games in the clutch, go get them a bucket. Those are all big check marks in favor of them going on a run. With Drake's defense, it really starts, I think, out on the perimeter with their ability to force turnovers, their ability to stay in fronts. And so we're going to look at it here, where there's a high ball screen, but it is just the guard and perimeter defense that they stay in front there, and now no drive can happen. Now they can close out aggressively to force either a contested three or them to dribble like they do here. And that's where then the switch can happen, and you get guys being able to play in the passing lanes, and you're forcing a turnover. You're going to look at an example here, though, where it isn't always just switching and staying in front. Here they're going to be in a high hedge, And so now you can see right here, this guard is going to have to kind of retreat a bit. And now it allows the defense to be even more set. And Drake does such a good job of being able to reach in, poke the ball free. As I mentioned, 6 guys average a steal. So there are a lot of opportunities to get the ball. So how many of these teams will you have making the Sweet 16?